Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to the Funky Panther. Coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas, we have got a hell of a show for you here on episode 196. I think that's right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, 196 I think is right.
We've got our friend BenCJones in the building. Want to say hey? Hey! He is here for his third go-around, technically. 2.5, 3 times.
Yeah.
Third time on the pod, so glad to have you.
Was it like once, twice, 3 times a lady?
3 times a lady. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Let's get into it. I'm Chad.
I'm Tim.
I'm Ben.
And we are
The Funky Panther!
I was not prepared for that either.
I thought I was going to do it, and you were going to do it, and I was,
Man,
whatever.
the whole thing.
We need Javier, you know? Obviously, Javier is not with us tonight. Rest in peace. If you don't know what happened, I'm just
I murdered him.
And then
I took his place. He's actually below.
If you don't remember the last time BenCJones was on, I think he had this whole like wrestler persona.
I did do the
yeah.
the Australian guy.
Yeah, this
right.
Australian guy. I think that's who killed Javier.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That was near Fort Worth, like 817 Day or something like that,
Yeah.
right? I think that was when I was in Egypt.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep. There's always one of you guys missing when I'm here.
That's
For
weird.
some reason.
It's
I don't
weird.
know why.
Huh.
Not the first time. The first time we were all here.
Right.
You know what I mean? But next time, for the 4th time you come on, Tim's going to be MIA for some reason.
Probably will be.
Which is going to be unfortunate because I don't know how to run the board. But,
Yeah,
we'll
you'll
figure it out.
It's fine.
So, what has everyone been fucking up to? We'll start with you. Just kind of like over the past few weeks, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I started hot yoga. Has anybody ever done that before?
I have seen women come out of the hot yoga place.
I sure have too.
Yeah.
Whenever I worked at a retail store, there was a hot yoga next door, and we would see all these nice young ladies.
This is getting creepy.
I mean,
Aren't you married?
not yet, and I wasn't at the time either. Calmate. But never mind. Go on. Hot yoga.
Hang on. Have you ever seen like a little kid whenever he sees something and he's got his face pressed against the window?
That was me.
Yeah.
Like the cleaning lady.
You go by that store,
Squeegee.
Clean off, squeegee that same spot of the glass.
his face is permanently imprinted in that glass now.
Dude,
No.
this thing is like a beatdown. Basically, you do these 26 postures, and you got to hold them, and you got to breathe, and oh my God, I'm so out of shape. I didn't realize just like how not flexible I am. I have like a horrible bad back. My hamstrings are like super tight, so it's just like, yeah, I've been doing that for like the last like month.
But that's
And
exactly what you need, right? It's all stretching. It's just like loosening you up.
It's not all stretching. There's parts
Really?
where you're having to like, you're like having to hold stuff. Like there's like one where you like, you lift your leg up and you're holding yourself on one leg and you're trying to balance. And one of my legs is just like cramping up and stuff and just, so yeah, I'm learning that I got a ways to go, but I've been going every day, and yeah, it's kind of taken over. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like compared to today, compared to day one, I can do so much more than I could do before.
Yeah.
And I do feel stronger, and I feel more limber. And people are like, "Yeah, when you hit your 30 days, it's gonna change your life." And I'm like, I don't, so I don't really feel changed. I mean, I feel a little bit more healthier, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
What made you want to jump into the hot yoga scene?
Yeah, the chicks are cool. No,
Who sounds weird now?
I don't know. No, I've been wanting to get into shape. Like COVID threw a lot of stuff off. I was doing jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay.
I did that. I got up to a blue belt, so I could probably put you guys in an arm bar if you know if it went down.
Fucking try it.
Yeah, that's why Javier's not here. He's had him an arm bar earlier.
Is that a place where like you go to drink?
I feel like arm bar would be a really cool name for a bar.
I think so too. They have crowbar,
They do
Yeah.
have crowbar.
the arm bar, and it's just a. Hear me out.
Okay.
You go to the arm bar, and
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of dudes putting people in arm bars.
I think you lost me on that one, dude.
That's what
That
it is.
that no longer sounds fun. That sounds painful.
well, I mean, people will pay for it.
Oh yeah.
There'd be somebody.
There's always somebody. I mean, there's this whole subgenre. We don't need to get into that, but there's a subgenre on the internet of certain things that, you know,
Is this like a BDSM type situation?
maybe worse.
Okay, moving on. Continuing.
But yeah, so and then COVID came around, disrupted that, and then I kind of stopped going, and then you know, you start getting a little bit older, so I guess I hung up my my blue belt, and I might go back if I can get like healthier with this yoga thing. But I was like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
I got to do something. So I was just like, let me give this hot yoga a try. And went to this place, and they were super nice, and they've been very supportive. They're like, "Oh yeah, go Ben, you can do it." And it's like, "Oh, all right, thanks, guys."
I think I would do regular yoga first.
Yeah.
You took it to an extreme.
dove
Mike.
right
yeah.
in.
Let's just put you in the armpit of the sun and make you do weird poses.
Yeah, do these things, but also get really sweaty and slippery.
It's
and
105 degrees.
God
inside there,
dang it!
and I'm just pouring buckets.
Yeah.
And then I look over at some of the other people there, and they're like not sweating at all. They're hitting all the poses. I'm just like, geez, I'm so out of shape.
They're not sweating because they're probably dehydrated.
That could be it
And I
too.
believe that's a sign of heat stroke, to be honest with you. I don't think you probably should watch out.
Right.
I've heard that people have passed out.
Really?
Yeah, like if you don't like take it easy, like you go in and if you're not prepared, you might actually pass out, and that hasn't happened.
That's
I
good.
like the first day I did have to take like a West Texas football practice knee because I was just like, dude, this is intense.
I was just about to ask, what was your first day like going into something brand new like that, knowing that people are probably killing it?
I hadn't worked out like that in a very long time, and it took a minute for me to recover. But yeah, I had to take a knee. And then I also learned like it's good to have water.
No way.
In that situation.
Homeboy shows up. He's got no water. He's got.
It's funny because the original guy who set all this up was like, Americans are weak, like no water. And like the Americans would be like, nah, do we need it, man? Come on. Like, and so I tried to do no water.
Well, I learned one of the last times that you were on the show that we are in a what is it like subtropical climate zone over down here or something like that? Yeah.
So humid subtropical.
Yeah, so
you did say that. I completely remember that now.
Good memory.
Yeah,
I believe. I believe that you do need water in those environments.
You do.
It's a fact.
You do.
I mean, there's a phenomenon whenever it's so humid that your body can't evaporate the sweat off, and so you don't get cool and you die.
What?
Yeah, like you have heat stroke because of it. So you can be out there sweating, but like you can't evaporate, so you can't cool because the humidity level's so high.
Where does the sweat go?
It stays on your body.
Just stays on you. I have heard about that.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, so that's where we're headed with like global warming.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be just one big sweaty sauna.
Yum.
The whole world.
Yum.
Everyone will be living in like Antarctica.
We're going to live we'll all live in our own soup.
Yeah.
It's gross. Yeah, whatever.
Cool. This conversation's fun.
I've been doing a lot of that, and then of course I've been doing a lot of media. This is I want to say the third. You guys got the bronze.
Yeah, you're kind of on a media circuit, huh?
I am. Yeah, I'm like trying to be legit.
Yeah.
And move around and talk to everybody.
Hold the fuck on. Bronze?
Well, we're third. We're the third one. The fourth one doesn't even get ranked at all. They don't get anything.
Because of what? What criteria?
Well, you're on the podium.
We're basing this off of the number in which you've done this?
The order.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Well, you're number one in my heart.
Can we end this thing? If we're not gold, he's the fuck out of here.
Well, he said we're number one in his heart.
You're number one in my heart.
Okay.
But you're number three
He's got a gold heart for us.
On the circuit of local podcasts.
You won me back. We're good here.
So, yeah, I did some of the competitors.
We're all friends.
No competitors anymore.
I'm over here talking shit. Well, they're probably better. We love them.
I got a write up on the Fort Worth magazine. That was pretty cool.
Hell yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah. That's a first for me.
That's great.
And yeah, I do have. I know I have at least one more podcast. I'm supposed to have another one, but I haven't heard back from this guy. So there's supposedly 2 more that are supposed to happen, and maybe Fort Worth Weekly will reach out at some point.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So
you deserve a cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you deserve a weekly cover at this point.
What would you wear on your cover? Like, what would be your outfit?
It would be the all white outfit.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
That's what we use
that's what
for
it would
this.
Be,
Yeah, it would be the all white outfit, and I actually do have a picture of like if they're like, "Do you have a picture?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, it's gonna be this one right here."
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a really good one.
Oh, that's great.
You're gonna have to wait the rest of you.
That's great.
Until it's on the cover of the weekly. But yeah, so it's a media blitz, and I got the idea from Bill Burr.
Okay.
And I saw him on Jimmy Kimmel in January, and he's like, "Yeah, in March, I'm going to be having a thing come out for Hulu, a special, and then in April we're going to be doing Broadway." And I'm like, "Dude, that's like February." I'm like doing the math here, and I'm like, "That's like a few months away."
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Okay, let me start getting the hype for."
Yeah.
Hey, you got to get it out there.
Yeah, for the show I got coming up June 13th over at the Post.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that gives us plenty of time to make arrangements to actually be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to the Post since it's moved?
I have.
What do you think? Is it a good spot?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
It's great. It's got the Lola's history behind it.
Sure, yeah.
And Birdie's kind of cleaned it all up and stuff,
Yeah.
so it's kind of nice now. Got a nice bathroom.
I don't know, man. I like those dingy bathrooms, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of might get shanked, might get a little stabby.
I think you're alone on that one, man. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna upgrade anything, make it the bathroom.
So I got to tell you a story. The one time that I was actually a paid musician, I can say that I got paid one time. We played a show up at Rubber Gloves up in Denton. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I've heard of it.
It's a cool little venue, but it's very much like DIY at the time, like a lot of punk shows.
Is it still open?
Oh yeah, it's still open. Yeah,
Really?
They've made it a little bit better. They've got a nice big outdoor stage now. It's actually pretty cool. And it was cool back then. But I walked into, I had to go to the bathroom, and this guy comes out as a single bathroom situation, like one door, one toilet, one sink. That's it. And he just opens the door. He's like, I wouldn't touch anything in there. And I was like, all right. And I'll go in there. There's graffiti all over the walls. I do my business, and I wash my hands, and I go to dry it. And I look at the hand dryer. And I chose not to touch it because the plug for it was cut, and it was 2 bare wires stuck in the outlet. And I was like, maybe I don't die today,
Yeah.
So that was my one. That was the one time.
Just like air drying with your hands flicking water in the outlet.
That was the one time I was a paid musician.
Wow.
That sounds like a lawsuit.
I'm sure they had to fix it. I'm sure that it's better now.
It's probably fixed now. Yeah.
Go up to Rubber Gloves. It's a cool place.
Who would
like it?
Who was just like, well, let's just plug these in and just see what happens?
I bet you anything it was a customer. I bet you it was anything like, or a patron, whatever. They came in, they couldn't get their hands dry, and they're like, fuck this. And they pulled out their pocket knife, cleaned the thing, and stuck it in the fucking wall.
I'm sure that's what it was.
And then pressed it and moved
worked,
on.
yeah.
I highly doubt an employee would have set that up like that.
You never know. They're trying to trap you. They're trying to get you.
Yeah.
Give you a little zap.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right method.
I don't know either, but I've never zapped anybody, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? I've noticed that you've been traveling all over the world. Damn it! How come I can't travel to Italy and Hong Kong?
Sir, you are a grown man. You can do whatever
They
you
won't
want.
let me.
They won't let me out of the city.
It's the government. No.
Yeah, no. We went up to Hong Kong, which I learned a lot about China in general. I went to Beijing years ago.
China.
Yeah.
China. And Beijing was awkward because there's cameras everywhere, there's military everywhere. The food was great and whatever, but you don't feel comfortable. I mean, it's just,
I can see that.
And then Hong Kong is like completely different.
It's like the Austin of
yeah, Austin or New York or something. Like it's super chill, laid back. You still have the culture, but it's also a lot more fucking expensive. Like $10 beers was the reg, and that was a little much. And there's a bunch of islands. Like you got Hong Kong Central, then Lantau, Kowloon. We went to a few of them. It was cool. It was fun.
Beer was supposed to be cheap over there.
in mainland China.
Right. Exactly.
Ah. So you gotta go deep in.
You got to go deep in to get the Pijo.
Excuse me.
You got to go deep.
The fuck did you say?
You gotta get. You
go
gotta,
deep to get the Pijo.
Yeah, you got to go deep to get the Pijo.
Okay.
Explain.
Well, okay, so Mandarin is the main language of most of China.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think in Hong Kong they speak something different.
It's still
It's like Szechuan
or Cantonese.
Or Cantonese, yeah. Szechuan's a food. Okay, no, Cantonese.
Well done. I'm glad that I paused and let you answer.
Thank you. I want to say that they speak Cantonese in Hong Kong, but the rest of most of China they speak Mandarin, and Pijo is the word for beer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So you gotta go in the mainland. You get the cheap beer, or the Pijo.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. I got you.
But we didn't.
Nope, you drank the $10 beers.
We drank what we had, and we had some really good stuff. Like we went to this cocktail bar. It was one of the top 50 cocktail bars in the world, and they were $25 a drink.
What?
They were also some of the best drinks we've ever had. Like we were with our friends Jesus and Crystal, which Jesus is a musician as well. They live in Guangzhou, which is like an hour and a half northwest of Hong Kong. And so where they live is considerably cheaper, right?
Yeah, okay.
But we decided that we wanted to do kind of the main stuff because we only had a week. But so the four of us, we were just passing drinks around. Is that what we do? It's like we want to try everything, right? Take a sip, pass it around. They're $25 drinks. I want to say I had 12 drinks, so we're just passing them around. It was fun. It was good. Then we went to Macau, which is like the Vegas of China.
Right. So
And
it's the former Portuguese colony.
Right. Very good.
Thank you.
Portuguese in Macau and British in Hong Kong. Didn't know either one of those things. So yeah, in Macau, and we had tapas because there's a lot of Portuguese bars and restaurants and stuff. We stayed at the Venetian just because it looked nice for the price, and so that's what we did. We didn't realize that it's the largest casino in the world. I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it akin to the Venetian in Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Gordon Ramsay restaurants.
Okay,
There's
yeah, I gotcha.
Venetian. There's the Parisian. There's all it very much is like
Vegas,
but different.
Okay.
Let me give you a few reasons why it's different. One, they take their gambling so seriously. I'm talking.
Well, I could have told you that.
I had no idea.
The Chinese, and I'm not just generalizing this, but the ones that like to gamble.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Dude, we get out onto
What is it? Baccarat? That's like one of their big games or something like that?
See, that might have been the one that I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Dude,
there was a lot of those actually, but
Baccarat makes no sense to me. It makes no sense.
so like there's like a in Vegas you can walk into any casino. No one gives a shit. Just walk in, walk out, whatever. They kind of like guard the entrance and exit to kind of like see who's coming in and out. And I think there was like a metal detector in some of them, whatever. That's fine. We're in. And then it's just so quiet. There's not dings and like sirens going off. It's just very quiet. And everyone's like, a lot of them are like personal computers. And you just see people like looking like they're working. They look like they're typing. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I thought we were here to like have fun. They don't have any alcohol on the casino floor. They have Red Bull. You can get free Red Bull and snacks. But yeah, it was just so awkward. It's
a weird.
We did a little bit of gambling, but it just felt very strange, right? But they had a little Old Town. It's nothing like Old Town Vegas, but if you think about something that's a little bit cheaper and a little bit like more divey, then that's what it was.
Okay.
Right? So it was kind of reminiscent of Fremont or whatever. But we go and we find this bar, and it was around 6 o'clock, and the bartender, our waitress, she was like, it's happy hour. We're like, all right, perfect. What does that mean? As we're looking at the menu. And she said, well, you roll for your drink. If you beat me, then you don't pay. If I beat you, you pay the happy hour price. And I'm like, this is the worst business idea of all time. Either way, I'm paying cheaper drinks, but half the time I don't have to pay for a drink at all, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like trying to verify, because it didn't seem right. Like, I feel like a smarter business idea would be like full price if I win or half price if you win. Something where we're still paying, right? So we got 3 drinks apiece. I think we ended up getting about 12 shots, and we paid for 2 drinks and 2 shots. We got $100 of drinks for free. The girl looked like she was upset. Like, I hope she doesn't get fired. Like, she just kept losing. She just kept losing. And it wasn't even the first drink. It was every single drink you play for it.
Yeah, she's gone.
We gave her a big tip. Like, we didn't know what to do. Like, you don't tip there, but I just felt awful.
Was this bar like inside the hotel, or was it part of?
No, it's part of, like, there's this Old Town where they've got the Portuguese restaurant and some stuff, and it's close to like the casinos and stuff, but it's about a half-mile walk.
Okay, so it was a standalone place.
Yeah.
So they're just losing money.
I got a better idea.
However, I will say at 9 o'clock the place got fucking packed, and their normal prices were not cheap. So they might have lost money on us, but they're definitely making money.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
So it's only during like happy hour.
6 to 9, yeah. That's it.
Okay.
I got a better idea.
Okay.
So you roll the dice and you pay whatever the dice is.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's $1, $1.20. Like a 2 would be 20, 3 would be 30. Whatever.
I have never seen someone lose as much as this nice girl lost at dice. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
Came in with the hot hand.
Sometimes luck just runs out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it. Just that. And then, yeah, NBA classes, trying to catch up and wrap up. And I'll be done in May 9th and then really focused on the wedding this summer. That's it. Been busy. What about you, Timothy?
No. That's all I got. But I
just a defeated.
I am defeated. But I do want to pose a question for you, okay? I was thinking about this. You ever go into the bathroom, not to do anything other than you're just going in the bathroom, you got to go to the bathroom, whatever, but you start thinking about stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was in the bathroom at work, and there was obviously somebody in the handicap stall. And so I want to pose this question. I want to see where everybody lies, okay? So you're in a public restroom in a very public place. It's very busy, and you use the handicap stall. And while you're in there, you get a little jiggle on the door. Mm-hmm. And someone's trying to get in. You're like, oh, it's occupied, and you look and you see wheelchair wheels. So what's your move when you're done?
I've seen a video of this exact same thing happening one time, and it was a pretty dumb video. To answer your question, I would just get out. I mean, after I do my business and say, I'm sorry, the other one was taken.
I'm just going to sit there and stare at you.
The other one was taken. I had to go.
So
I
me
apologize.
personally,
Yeah.
I'm gonna act it up a little bit.
Of course you are.
I'm going to drag my leg.
You're a bad person.
I'm going to drag my leg until I get out of the bathroom and far enough away and then never go back. And hope
Usual Suspects.
Hope I never see. Yeah.
They start losing the limp every step.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Was it Kaiser Soze that shit?
Yeah.
Kaiser Sose.
I'll get better.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
But I'm gonna ham it up a little bit because that's man. I feel so bad.
Ben, what would you do?
Okay, well, number one, let's just all be very clear. Everybody uses the handicap.
Well, yeah,
100%.
100%.
Because
It's larger, more comfortable.
right.
Stretch
You can
out.
stretch out, you know.
Take off your pants. Wait, what? What are y'all doing?
We had that conversation.
But if the other one's occupied, you're going to use it.
I'm gonna say it's not occupied. Like the other ones weren't occupied. You just chose that. That's what I'm getting at.
I did that today at work. I just grabbed the bigger stall. I know my floor very well. I'm going to be the most comfortable stall if it's open.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
I feel like, if you saw the wheels, whatever, and someone's like trying to get in, me personally, I think I would use it if the other ones were occupied. Because honestly,
Every time.
I really don't think about it, to be
Okay.
honest. You know, I don't really go, let me go straight to that one.
I've got another idea. This might be the move.
Okay,
All right.
I doubt it.
No. It's gonna require you having to get on the floor though.
See, you already
But
lost
hear me out.
In the bathroom. Got it.
They're jiggling the whatever, and you know the stall next to you is empty, so you slip under the door, go to that stall, flush the toilet, you come out, and you're like, man, assholes, right? And you just walk.
Such a bad idea. They're going to hear you. You're going to be filthy, and that door's still going to be locked. So tell me how that's going to work.
I mean,
It's not the move.
they don't know it's you.
Listen, I honestly don't ever think of it as the handicap stall.
You just think of it as the nice stall,
bigger nice stall.
The bigger, the premium first class stall.
Hey, if it's open and the same price, I'm going to take first class every time.
All right.
I don't think I'm a bad person for that. I feel like I'm not the minority in this.
I'm going to tell you that 90% of my day is me thinking about stuff like this sometimes. You know, it just happens.
I will also say, on the worst day, I'm in that stall for 3 to 4 minutes. Worst day, I'm in and out.
You're in and out.
It's good, man.
I don't like spending time in the restroom. There's better places to spend your time, in my opinion.
Some people settle in.
I know.
They get the phone out. They start doing their taxes.
Dude,
You know,
I heard a guy snoring the other day at work. I'm like, how long has he been in the big stall? Because this is pissing
Well, I
me
mean,
off.
I know somebody who slips into the bathroom whenever they don't want to do work at my job in the office. You know, they slip in there for about 30 minutes or so, take a little nap.
That's wild.
You know, to each their own, right?
Because if you're napping, are you bare ass? Are you just sitting? Are your pants getting dirty? Like, what's the situation?
Well, if it had a
you bringing your own personal stool,
If it had a regular toilet lid, you don't have to be bare ass. But I feel like you have to be bare ass on a public bathroom toilet.
yeah, because they all have like the have seat,
There is
whatever it
no seat there. Yeah, it's just open. You know, they don't have the little lid that covers it.
Right.
That'd be weird to sit there in your pants on a uncovered toilet.
It's been a really healthy conversation about
has been.
toilets and stalls.
I'm
right
glad
now.
that we could get into that. No, but I mean, honestly, my life has been nothing but school here lately, and it's just I'm ready to be done.
I feel you.
I'm
well,
so ready
May's
to be
right
done.
around the corner, so you're.
Yeah.
Are you taking summer?
No summer classes
Same.
other than the class that I'm actually in, but the for work.
Oh,
Hey, Dustin said he can't hear a single from the chat. We've got our man from JJTM. He's like, hey, can't hear a thing. He just want to see your beautiful faces, apparently. He's at Cannibal
He
Corpse.
said cannibal. He's seeing the big thumb. If you haven't ever seen a Corpse Grinder, he's the singer for Cannibal Corpse. He looks like a giant thumb. He's headbanged so much that his neck is just massive.
Shut up.
Dude, I'm serious, man. Look him up. He's actually a really sweetheart, too. He does a lot of charity stuff, buys toys. Every year for Christmas, he buys toys for
excellent.
little
yeah,
kids and stuff.
That's
Wave at JJTM. Wave at Dustin.
what you got to do.
He's probably gone already.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck.
So, all right, that's it. But what I wanted to get into, and just to let everybody know, we're gonna get into BenCJones got a big announcement. He's gonna share with us about some upcoming stuff. He kind of alluded to that. We've got some things to ask him and talk to him about. But I wanted to
Spoiler alert, it involves very little clothing. So
it's going to be a good time.
move on.
I wanted to get into something that stood out to me recently that's been all over the media. I want to talk about this. It's a little bit controversy. Okay?
Oh shit! We get canceled.
Yeah, here we go.
Blue Origin's all-female crew.
Okay.
I want to talk. I want to talk about this for a second. So, if you don't know, if you're listening to us, Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos' little rocket thing. That
Little
he's got.
rocket thing. Way to downplay a whole space program.
This little rocket program that sends people to space.
I feel like Jeff is more into the space tourism. It seems like.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's moneymaker. Come on. Yeah.
All right. So Blue Origin's latest suborbital, so not even like a true orbit, but a suborbital space tourism
keep
flight.
downplaying the shit out of this.
I'm going to downplay the shit out of this. Flight featuring an all-female crew, including Katy Perry. And I don't know if you've seen any of the news media or any of the stuff that's going on there, but people are just, ripping into them, right?
Yeah.
So the crew members, so it launched May 19th, 2025. It was approximately 11 minutes.
It wasn't May 19th.
Was it May 19th?
No, that's next month.
Sorry, next month.
It was a Monday, so it had to been like the 14th.
The 14th, yeah. I got the wrong date on there. Approximately 11 minutes total.
Yeah.
Including maybe about 3 to 4 minutes of weightlessness. Launched out of West Texas near the ship, whatever. It was the Shepherd rocket, but down.
I didn't know it was out of Texas.
Yeah, Blue Origin's got a spot down there.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Crew members were Katy Perry, right?
Yeah.
That's the big one.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oprah's best friend was on there.
Yeah. Gail.
Yeah,
CBS.
Gail was on there. Yeah. So I mean, there's just
and some other ladies that we don't care about.
Just a whole spaceship, a little tiny spaceship that barely made it to space with some ladies.
Okay. Now
They could afford going on a spaceship.
right. Yeah.
that's where I wanted to get into.
not cheap.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they're calling them a crew. That's what got me. Like, I could care less. You're rich. I get it. You're going up in a spaceship. Cool. You got the money to do that. Us poor people will never get to go to space. So Gail.
I'm going to space, just by the way.
Gail was, so someone was like talking to her and she's like, they're not going to rain on my parade. And then said, have you ever gone to space? Well, no, Gail, I haven't. I don't have $200 and something thousand.
Is that how much it was?
I don't know. It's something. It's got to be something
Six
extra.
figures.
A drop in a bucket for them.
Sure, yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's common folk unless they get something who's never going to go to space, right? But I want to just take a second on the crew. So what did that was a weird choice of words. What were they crewing? What were they doing? To me, it's just a little ride. They took a ride.
Okay, so I am very ignorant to most of this. The only thing I know is my coworker, she was pretty excited about it on Monday. She's like, hey, like we were going to go to lunch, and she's like, hey, I got to watch this whole spaceship thing happen. I'm like, all right, do you, boo? I don't know what you're talking about.
I love seeing rockets fly in space.
She's like, it's an all-female...
Did she say
all-female cast? It's an all-female crew. She said that. Like, she was excited about it. Like, she's... And I was like, hell yeah, that's fantastic.
And that is fantastic. I am here for that. But
right.
What did they crew?
That's what I was going to ask. Were any of them actually piloting?
No one. None of them were pushing buttons. It was all remote controlled.
Okay, so on the ships nowadays, there doesn't actually need to be pilots at all.
No, I mean, sure. On like no, some of them like for the space missions, yeah, they need to have
Because you got to connect and dock.
and you
do
might
all
have
this
to
shit.
take control of it and things like
Right.
that. But no, this is like literally it's it'd be like the equivalent of riding in your Wago or whatever. Your Wego, whatever the thing is.
Oh,
Waymo?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Waymo, yeah.
I rode a Waymo in San Francisco.
I did see that. Yeah.
And that shit was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the equivalent of that. Or like in your
Okay.
Tesla. You just
So
got in your Tesla.
but you want to say they're passengers.
They're passengers.
as
Okay.
opposed to a crew.
Riders. I could
Right.
go for that.
Right.
You know, something like that. But to call them a crew, I'm like, what was Katy Perry's role?
What if something went
She
wrong?
was communications.
She was she sang
She was entertainment because apparently she sang.
she sang a little song, made everybody a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
Calmed them down. She brought a flower,
A butterfly thing.
little flower up there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Okay,
was.
so
and I'm
Gail
just
King
trying-
was Uhura,
Yeah.
and she had she was interpreting alien
Probably.
communications.
I'm surprised Wendy Williams wasn't on this. She's actually not so crazy as we thought.
Really?
Yeah, she's in this conservatorship and she's being held hostage now. That's a whole nother thing we'll have to talk about later.
Okay. Seems the opposite of not crazy, but okay.
Yeah.
I want to say that this goes back to the very first launch where Bezos was like, we're the crew.
Yeah.
And so now anybody who rides in that is going to be the crew.
Well, it's a selling point too,
mean, it's
right? Like you can
downplay-
say that you crewed a spaceship.
You crewed it.
Right. You were crewing.
Yeah, but so did Buzz Aldrin.
out crewing.
And he landed on the moon.
Okay, listen, I don't even have that big of an issue with being a crew. The one video that I saw that none of this bothered me. I thought people were like making too big of a deal out of it. I'm like, this is really cool. This is a cool thing, right?
But it's a bunch of women riding in a spacecraft.
Right. But when they came down and they were talking to Katy Perry and they're like, how does it feel to be one of the first, I don't know, 150 astronauts to ever go into space?
That was the other thing.
That bothered me because I feel like
Yes.
that's like saying you're a scientist. You know, it's like you do need some kind of like credentials.
None of them
Some
are
training,
astronauts.
you know,
Right.
like, you know, you're in that little machine that goes in a circle. You're like testing the G-forces and stuff on your face.
I flew in a plane to China. I never said I piloted that.
Fucking
motherfucker.
pilot.
I never even said I was crew.
How does it feel to be a pilot?
Listen, I'm one of the first, I don't know, billion people to ever crew an aircraft, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I read this and you know, and I'm not. Whenever I first read this, I was like, okay, am I being sexist? Like, I asked myself that. Because I'm
Yes.
sitting there reading it, and I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't give a shit about crews until this shit went down, and then now you're like,
No, some people like. So I never heard. Like honestly, I've never paid attention to Blue Origin.
Yeah.
Other than like I knew he had a rocket. I never knew that he called them crews or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Didn't know that until this, and I'm like, and I'm reading the headlines. It's like first all-female crew going into space. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I'm thinking like, it's like SpaceX. You know, they got the Falcon Heavy rocket, and I saw Katy Perry, and I'm like, the fuck does she do in space? You know.
I will say that being famous, you bring a lot of attention, and it's the internet. A lot of that's going to be negative attention, right? When the first three, like I don't even know how many people have gone to space at this point, but I remember the first three. It was almost like that race, right? It was like Jeff Bezos, and it was Elon Musk, and it was the guy from Virgin, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those three guys all set out for rockets in like the same year. And I wasn't even paying attention because who gives a shit, right? It was just like this who's got the bigger dick race type situation.
Sure, yeah.
But, you know, no one was really, that I remember, was like famous. Now you got some famous, you got that all-female thing behind it. Yeah. And so there's a lot of hype. And so people are going to be dicks. And so I think that you saw some of the dick things that people were posting. You're like, you know what? That is pretty fucked.
100% did not.
Okay.
The first article I saw was it was just a CNN article talking about the flight, right? And so I was genuinely curious. I'm thinking, okay, it's like a space flight. Like I thought, literally went into orbit, you know, doing some sort of like little mission thing, came back, and I saw it was 11 minutes. I'm like, wait a second here, that's weird. And then I saw Katy Perry, and I'm like, well, I mean, they did try to send that teacher to outer space at one time.
What?
Yeah, she died. That was one of the fiascos back in the 80s.
the Challenger
yeah.
blew up in 86.
Yeah. So like it wasn't like out to me. It wasn't out of the realm that they would maybe a celebrity's going up there. It's guest whatever to do some sort of mission. She can participate. I was like, that's cool as shit. But I saw 11 minutes. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then I actually started kind of understanding what Blue Origin is, and I'm like, oh, they kind of went to the edge of space.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And really, that's all you need. Like,
No.
It's kind of like going scuba diving. Like, you go down 30 feet and you're going to see what you want to see. Going down any further.
I need to go further.
It's just trying to be an asshole, really.
It is. I will
You're going
say,
to lose color. You're going to lose prettiness.
James Cameron, out of there.
Just leave.
it is cool though. I mean, like it's cool. Like the thought process of like being able to go commercial space tourism. I think that's pretty fucking cool.
If you can see the edge of Earth, to me, you're
pretty cool.
space. That's
okay.
pretty
Yeah.
legit.
That's
like,
pretty cool.
It
That's what
is
they
on my list. Like, it is going to become more and more available
Sure.
in the next 10, 20 years. And hopefully at some point I can afford it and it'll become more affordable. I even saw that in 2027, there's going to be a space hotel. Did you see about
I've heard that. Yeah.
And like, it's going to be a whole space hotel.
So there's a lot of questions I have about that, but one of the things that I did see was like this one space flight used more CO2 emissions than like any normal person would do in their entire lifetime.
Yeah.
So there's things like that. So like the environmental impact of these little random just like space tours and launches or whatever. The space hotel though, to me, that's wild. Like, they got to figure out how do you combat, space radiation and, all that stuff. How long are you allowed to stay there in a hotel? Can I check in? What if I go more than 30 days? You have to evict me then.
Who works there? Who's working at the space hotel?
Yeah. I think it's going to be like a Mexico resort, man. Like, it's going to be like you go, and they probably have a flight every day, and you can't exceed 7 days or something like that, and you're going to spend...
We're going to take you on a spacewalk, and...
I don't think they're going to go, like, get dangerous with it. It's literally going to be you in a room and some alcohol that's overly expensive.
I will tell you who would get dangerous, though, with it, is that Sir Richard Branson or whatever.
Oh, he's the Virgin guy.
Yeah. He would get dangerous with it.
What do you mean?
Dude, he'd have all sorts of crazy excursions.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I'm telling you, like,
we're just gonna do all the things you could do on the cruise, but up there in space.
Yeah. You're up there playing space golf, and
All right, Ben C. Do you ever want to go to space? Like,
Yeah.
really?
Well, one of the things about the planes is the Mile High Club. So what do you like? Yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
You can do that in Vegas. Like, did you know that?
It's $1,000.
It's
Oh, there really is a thing you can do?
It's $1,000.
Okay.
They take you up a mile high, and
It's a private plane. That's all the pilot
bed
does.
comes out.
No, it's made for this. Like, the pilot has a curtain. He shuts it. He puts on headphones, and you have the plane.
So I mentioned this, and I was told absolutely not. And I'm like,
well, yeah, you mentioned the wrong person. I told you no. I don't know how many times I got to do this.
I told absolutely not.
So then the question is, space sex. Right? I mean, if you're there, you spent the money.
They've already tested it.
This was a quick turn to
Really?
They've had to. They've done all these space.
we talked about this recently.
They've done all these space.
Did you really talk about
2 episodes ago. We were talking about
bringing it back?
They've done all these, tests and everything. Of course, they've had to check like what sexual relations would be like in space.
I guess
It's got to be a test. It had to have been some sort of scientific study they've done.
You can't get pregnant in space. It's a fact. So, like, you're literally...
Yeah, I hear that too.
You're going to a space hotel.
Of course, baby, we don't have to wear a condom. I mean, come on.
We're in space.
Everybody knows you can't get pregnant in space. So I'm not wearing one.
All right, how much would you pay for that 11-minute rocket ride?
Oh, well, $1,000 would be... I'd pay $1,000.
That's the max you would pay.
I mean, I don't have a lot of money.
No, I mean, okay, I'm with you. Like, okay, so let me ask you this: I'm
trying to figure out limit here, right? Like, at what point does it become affordable to where people would want to go?
All right, so I think, okay, for me, like a once in a lifetime thing that I've always wanted to do is to sit courtside, and I'm talking like on the floor, not 3 rows back, but like I want to be where I want to be where the celebrities sit,
Right.
on the floor, not behind the goal, on the side.
Yeah.
At not Mavs game now, but that's a whole nother topic. But at a professional basketball
we'll go sit next to Jack Nicholson at Lakers game.
100%.
Luka.
Yeah, just one time.
How much would that be?
I would. So expensive. I looked into courtside tickets, and I found that like they were up on like what's that one of those game
SeatGeek.
Yeah, it was like SeatGeek. And I think tickets I found, which were like 3 rows back under the goal side, was something like $5,000 or more. And
that's resale. I mean, I think you probably have to have season tickets.
You do. Yeah.
But yeah, probably what, $10,000?
Maybe more. Actually, I saw one that was like something like $30,000 for a seat.
For a seat
Yeah,
on the court.
Yeah, and it was
$30,000.
and it was ridiculous. And I'm like, I can't justify that. I could for my 40th birthday, I could justify spending maybe like $5,000. It's like a once in a lifetime. I'm never going to do this again.
Right.
Sitting right there on the court, watch a whole basketball game. I would be.
But $5,000 just you. You're sitting there by yourself.
$5,000 just me. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think you get free popcorn.
I think you do. I think food is
honestly
included
worth
in the seats,
right?
Yeah. So for space, like. I don't know. People pay like $10,000 to go summit Mount Kilimanjaro, and things like that, and that's kind of like a once in a lifetime thing. I think maybe $10,000. It'd be like a one-time deal. I saved up for it. This is what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, 10,000. Okay.
So before like the whole Russian-Ukraine war thing going on, you could go to Russia, and I want to say it was like an all-inclusive package for like $10,000. You got to go up in a Russian like 5th gen fighter. Mm-hmm. and go do acrobats and stuff and actually get to fly it a little bit.
That's kind of cool.
And included your hotel and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, that would be 100% really fucking cool to go do that.
Okay, but if you guys were billionaires, like money wasn't an issue, throwing down $200,000,
No big deal.
You would do it.
Yeah.
I think I would want to be a little more responsible, though. I don't know. I feel like I would be a bad billionaire because I would just blow my money on stupid shit. And that
That's
would,
not a stupid thing, man. Go to space. That is
for like 11 minutes, though. I feel
Dude,
like
it's for your personal brand. Look how much publicity Katy Perry's getting, like just because of this. It's a tax write-off probably for her, to be honest with you. Like
Dude, so many celebrities are
make
talking
it
shit about
about
her too.
charity.
Even at this point in my life, which I also am not like full of money, but if they got down to like 50 grand, I'd be saving. I would try to go to space for 50 grand.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For that 11 minutes.
For that 11 minutes.
$50,000 for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe I just can't fathom that because I'm poor.
Well,
That could be it.
I mean, you have to cut back on everything else in life that you enjoy.
Sure.
For a very long time.
Well, I mean, you say that, but like honestly, if you had a house, you could just take like a, second mortgage out.
yeah, but like realistically, you don't want to like have your cake and eat it too, right? You're gonna have to like save somewhere. So it'd be like no more traveling.
Got some
no
equity
more
in the
going
house.
out.
No more doing anything for that 11 minutes.
Honestly,
You'd be just be like, no
5
life.
years of nothing for 11 minutes.
I've got
For 11
I've got
minutes,
enough
yeah.
equity in the house. I could probably pull that equity out and go fly this Blue Origin thing. It's going to take me about 30 years to pay it off.
Right.
But I mean, it's doable if it was really that
Dude,
worth
you
it.
can't take that money with you when you die. So actually, that's probably a better bet than me trying to save. It's just like fucking put it on credit. Who cares? I'll pay it off for the rest of my
You
life.
could default and file bankruptcy.
Yeah, easy
It's fine.
Would you pay $50,000 to see the Titanic?
to like go underwater.
To
to
go
see the-
underwater.
If it was 100% safe and not going to
We
implode
saw
on
how
itself,
that happened.
yeah.
I would be more in tune to do something like that for that kind of money. Or if I was going to go into space, like I would want to go into like actual like I want to go. Into
You want at least one orbit.
maybe two, couple orbits. Call it good. Yeah, for that kind of money. Yeah.
Did it orbit an entire orbit in 11 minutes? I
don't-
feel like
no,
that's
no,
very
no.
short.
No,
right?
it just went straight up and then it came right
hit the
back
edge,
down.
yeah, hit the edge of
Okay.
space. Yeah. So I don't know.
That's the move.
That's a tough. Like, how much are you willing to spend for something that you truly always wanted to do?
I don't think I'd pay more than 10 grand for the fucking Titanic thing. And I don't even care to see the Titanic. I mean, just to go down in a submarine and be able to like control it, I'd pay 10 grand. I'm not even interested in the Titanic thing.
Well, I could get you a sub for less than that you could probably control.
Less than 10 grand.
I mean,
Yeah, it'll
You can
stay.
rent one.
I know a guy.
Sure.
Makes them out of propane tanks.
Nice. Very safe.
Yeah. So now, I do have just a couple questions I want to ask, like before we move on to our guest here. But
We don't have time.
so imagine like
out of
a real turbulent reentry.
Uh-huh.
So what's Katy doing? Is she breaking out in the song, like trying to calm everybody down, or is she, terrified herself?
I mean, she kissed the ground when she got home. Like, she was that, and people are like, really?
Yeah, I
Like,
felt that was over the top
a
too.
little-
But have you seen the other controversy? But people are saying that like they actually didn't go to space. So there's a whole conspiracy theory on this now.
Okay.
But
Here we go.
so one of the pictures or one of the videos when they landed, they were able to open the door from the inside, and supposedly that's like you shouldn't be able to open it from the inside.
Dude,
kind
it's
of
a
thing.
passenger plane.
That's kind of what I thought too.
It's going to have to open from the inside.
But the door was already open, and they kind of shut it, and then Jeff went over there with this like key-looking thing and stuck it in there, and then opened it. Like there's just I don't know.
Do you think they went to space?
Probably. Or to the edge of space.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
To where they went.
Yeah.
they
I think they went
to where they went.
I agree. I don't think that there's a legitimate conspiracy.
I think I would rather spend money. I think I'd have more enjoyment going in a hot air balloon.
Oh.
I think than maybe going to space.
That's way cheaper.
It is way cheaper.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Done it?
Yeah, with my parents in Egypt. And it was considerably cheaper than it was here. But I think it was like 125, 150 a person. something
Well,
like that.
see, that's cheap, and you just float around, man. That's nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's peaceful.
And we got like good views of like excavation sites and temples and stuff like in the desert. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, so I think this was like a whole publicity stunt just to get more attention to Blue Origin. And
They should have did it last month for the Women's Month, number one.
well, sure.
Oh, yeah,
I think that they
missed
missed
But
off
then,
there.
you know, Katy Perry, her schedule was busy. And so she had a lot going
At
on.
least give them some button to push, and then you could call them a crew. Like, they launch it.
I mean, from what I heard, I don't know where I heard this, but I'm pretty sure that they open the door from the inside. So
maybe crew.
that's a thing.
But everybody gets a key. And they all have to turn the key.
If they open the door, that's
they
a
all have
thing
to
they did.
simultaneously push the button,
Yeah.
and then it launches. Could you imagine just sitting there like,
decoy button that does nothing?
No.
Look at me.
it actually does something, but you're getting pissed off because I'm like, on 3, and nobody can hit it. Yeah. You're just like stuck there on the thing, and you have to actually, okay, go ahead and push the other button.
How awesome would it be if they had a button that literally just like made some weird noise back at like the control center or whatever, and they're just like, ha ha, fuckers, and they're just like pressing a button, and it just, I don't know. That would annoy people. That'd be fun.
To me, it feels like I'm almost like one of those. What was that? I think you should leave.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like this is like a whole sketch that he would end up doing. You know, has this ever happened to you? Like,
I think I've said this before. I think there's this concept that I have for a reality TV show, and it is to attract people that want to go to space, and then you put them through this like excruciating training process. You get them like actual training for space.
I've seen this.
This isn't a
No,
real
no, it fucking is, man.
No. Hold on. Wait. This is the twist. So then you put them on a rocket ship and you send them to space. But this is all fake. Like you're in a studio.
It's 100% real. I've seen this.
This is not real.
It's 100. Yes,
This is not a thing.
it is a thing.
And so they
I'll find it.
Okay. And I'm thinking like they shake the room. They make like the windows look like TV screens and make it look like you're in space.
This is exactly a thing.
No
They
way.
pulled this whole prank on these people. They did.
This sounds familiar. Like, yeah.
I think subconsciously you saw this.
It was on Fox or something over the summer.
I'm pretty annoyed by this if it's real.
I'm going to find it. I'll find it. I won't find it right now while we're in the show, but I'm going to find it because I saw this. I was like, this is fucking great. Like, it was the best thing ever. And then when they land, there was an alien.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
So they did this whole thing, and it freaked people out.
That's the twist.
Yeah.
You bring an alien at the end.
He
you're
was just
like-
going to probe people. That's what his
I'm the
shtick
alien.
was. No, it's a thing. It's a thing. I saw.
now.
I saw it. You got try to look it up.
It does sound familiar. I think you're right. I think this was a Fox summer thing like a couple years ago, 5 years ago.
All right. Want to get into? We got Mr. BenCJones here,
Yeah.
and if you heard earlier, while he was
Holy
doing,
fuck, it's a thing.
yeah, while he was, I told you, while he was doing
Yeah.
while he was doing hot yoga. They're in your subconscious. That's what it is.
I swear you
Space
probably
Cadets.
Space Cadet. That's a good name.
It's a great
It's a
fucking
great name.
I would have picked like fake space. You know,
Fake
dumb.
space.
yeah,
Space Cadets. Look at this fucking Space Cadet. So good. If you heard Mr. BenCJones here, he said while he was doing hot yoga, they're cheering him on and saying, "Way to go, Ben." So first question is that your name is not BenCJones?
Well, I mean, that's my stage name.
Oh well.
For those who don't know,
How'd you
Spoiler.
how'd you pick out your stage name?
it's funny. Yeah, dude, I tell this story all the time. I guess I didn't tell it to you guys before.
I don't
think
remember it. Yeah, I don't think I asked.
I don't think you guys asked before. Well, basically, I was in the studio. I was working with Sarah Sellers. We were doing some pop stuff, and Sarah, she used to be on American Idol a couple years back. And we were working on some stuff, and I brought my brother in, and I also brought my friend Picasso. So my brother and Picasso, they were in this group called PPT back in the day. And anyways, both rappers, and they weren't doing anything. So I'm like, dude, come on in, man. Just, we'll be cool. And Picasso was there, and he's watching me, and I'm just kind of like, telling the engineer, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, whatever. And he's like, damn, Ben, you're like producing your ass off. You're like Quincy Jones. And he goes,
Okay.
And so
Quinn C. Jones.
Quinn C. Jones, and he's like, he's a rapper. So immediately he just goes, BenCJones. We all
Okay.
looked at each other like, oh, that's a fucking cool
It's
name.
fantastic. Yeah.
And
And the rest was history.
BenCJones was born at that moment, yeah.
So the reason why I asked that is I came across a video talking about the country artist Conway Twitty, and he came up with his name. He was racking his brain trying to figure out this name or whatever, and he literally just looked at where he's from, which is like around the Memphis area, and saw in Arkansas there's a Conway, Arkansas. So he's like, okay, and then he found Twitty, Texas. And then Conway Twitty. That's
put it together.
Yeah,
love it.
Nothing special, right?
Yeah.
It just just happened to come that way, and then he's known as Conway Twitty. All right, so you've got a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Via Amplify 817, right?
Yeah. Shout out Amplify 817. They're going to be exclusively putting this album out.
That's awesome.
And when does the album actually drop on their streaming?
Supposedly it's supposed to be May 23rd.
Okay.
So next month.
Wow.
So we're looking at May 23rd, and you got an album release show in June 13th.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And that's gonna be at the Post. I'm going through my notes here. Now you had several people collaborating on there, right? So how did that all come about?
As far as the album or the
getting these artists to collaborate with you on this album, and did you seek them out, or were you?
I did. Yeah, these are guys that I've worked with before.
Okay.
So traditionally, I kind of like work on my albums by myself, and then I'll occasionally pull people in. Like I'm not a really good drummer, so I can find a drummer for some stuff, and I'll pull them in. And then when I play live, I have like a full band.
Right.
So one of the things that I wanted to do was to actually capture, I guess, a moment, because I've been working with these guys now for the last couple of years. I want to have something where, we all would record a song together. So the 817 Day show that we did, I was able to get all those guys on this record.
Okay.
And part of it was just like I knew that some things were changing. Like we're kind of going through a change with the drummer. So he got a job working for Adobe, and I was like, man, I really want to get him on the album because I just want to have this moment where I just have all the guys from the band for the last couple of years on this record. So I was able to pull it off, and so that's like the majority of the people right there.
Gotcha.
Is those guys, and then there was a couple other guys that I brought in that I found on like Fiverr.
Nice.
To to do like bongos and drums, and I got a guy that I use who does steel string, and I've used him a couple times.
So how does that all work out? I mean, you send them kind of like, this is these are the tracks here, and they just kind of come up with their little thing and send it back, and you kind of go back and forth. We've used Fiverr before to do some cartoon pictures for us.
Yeah, random stuff.
Yeah.
It's when I first started, it was hit and miss.
Okay.
Like you'd hire these guys, and like some of the guys, it would just be horrible. And then some of the stuff you're like, oh, this is great. I love this. And then so the ones that you love, you keep, and you keep going back with those guys. And the ones that you hate, you're like, all right, well, good luck.
On.
Yeah, moving on.
All right. So when we first met, I feel like that was right at Just One Gun came out. It was 2019.
That's when we had a playlist. It was like right after we had our first Amplify 817 playlist.
Right. So you had
and
just
we put BenCJones on. I think it was the opening, one of the first few tracks, and we had not, to be quite honest with you, listened to you at all until that point, and we fell in love. Like that album,
So
fantastic.
that was 2019, right?
That came out in 2019, yeah. But the I'm actually class of 2022.
Okay.
I think for the Amplify 817. So
Okay. Yeah. So
it was 3 years later.
all right. Yeah. I'm trying to get my timeline when we did our playlist. It probably was right around 2022.
And so 2022 is when I came on the show.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
There you go, Amplify 817, bringing music to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now listening to Just One Gun and that era of BenCJones, and we were able to listen to. By the way, I shared the shit. I'm just kidding.
And I was like, "Don't share."
I shared the shit out of it. No, we got to listen to the new album, and I feel like listening to your older stuff, there was always this kind of like the way I look at Just One Gun is it sounds like it should have been in the soundtrack for like Baby Driver or Ocean's 11 or something like that. And this album carries that kind of classic-ish 70s, 80s kind of vibe to it that it reminded. There's a lot of songs I was listening to, and I thought of Quentin Tarantino movies that just kind of played in my head. I was like, oh, this would be good. There was one song, I think it was like the first track I envisioned it being played in on Quentin Tarantino's movie Jackie Brown, which is one of my favorites. But it's very different, but there is some, I mean, you can tell it's BenCJones, right? Yeah. So this evolution from that to this, what are we seeing here?
Well, I think with all artists, you kind of go, unless you're AC/DC,
right,
where it's just like the same thing on every album. You go through a change, and so with this evolution of BenCJones, it's just kind of where I want to go. I want the songs to be a little bit more 70s, 80s. I mean, I tried to keep it to where it was like kind of some of it a theme, but of course I failed at that. So it's a little bit all over the place. I mean, I got people saying like some of the stuff sounds like Paul Simon, and then like I'm like, yeah, I could see that for one of the songs. And then some of the stuff sounds like Pink Floyd, and I'm like,
I got that on the.
I'm like, yeah,
with the pink sky,
or Pink Fly,
Pink Fly, yeah.
That's what it is.
So I got Pink Floyd kind of vibe on Pink Fly,
yeah,
but not just Pink Floyd, but like a little bit of Zeppelin, just that kind of. We're getting kind of psychedelic,
a little bit, yeah,
but we're not quite to that level. It was definitely something that one of my favorite albums is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I put it on. I can just sit there and listen. It's very airy and open and kind of this like whole spatial thing, right?
That's great.
So that's what I was getting from listening to your album was this kind of like very airy, very open, very spatial, but also a little bit like kind of teetering on the psychedelic, but then that would go away and then we'd come back into it. So there was definitely like this whole vibe to it. And there were a couple of songs that I was like, everything had this like kind of same feel, but you threw in like two songs, and I think the two that had the different album or little artwork that didn't quite feel like the rest.
Right. Yeah, it's very different.
It's very different. And so I'm listening to it, and it's kind of one of those things, it feels like it's just kind of shaking things up a little bit in the album and getting you kind of back into more maybe active listening or something.
Yeah, trying to mix it up. Everybody has such a short attention span, and I just felt like, it's just good to have variety, and that's something I've always done is do a lot of different genre mixing things and whatnot. So probably I Noticed Things, which kind of has that kind of a tropical vibe to it, and, and then Violet, which is more, I don't know, kind of. It has a little bit of a country vibe to it. I mean, that does have steel string on it. Whereas the rest of it, it's a little bit more. It's a little different.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you recorded this at Nile City Sound?
I did not.
Okay. No.
Okay. I record all my stuff at my house.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a home studio. I record it all at the house, and I produce it all there. And
okay.
I did a little bit with Pete Waringa. He's got a weird last name. And I do the vocals with him.
Okay.
But other than that,
so you're doing this all at home?
Yeah.
Putting it out there, and then are you mixing it, or are you?
I don't mix. Okay. Yeah, I don't mix. This was mixed by Ty Macklin and Kent Stump out of Dallas, and Ty's out of Fort Worth. I would love to learn how to mix. I think that's the next level. Mm-hmm. I could probably, even get some business mixing some other people's stuff if I could figure it out. But I just haven't actually taken that step.
Who's
yet.
that? Man, I can't think of his name now. Paul Rubin. Mm-hmm. That's who. He's got the the life, right? This guy, he sits there and he doesn't. He said he doesn't know Rick Rubin. There you go, Paul Rubin. Rick Rubin doesn't know anything. Paul Rubin's isn't that Pee Wee? I think it is. Yeah. Rick Rubin. He doesn't know anything about music really, and he just knows what he likes and he listens and does that. It takes a very special person to be able to.
Yeah.
He's like, we need to tweak this here. We need to.
I've got this I never really known what it was, but like I have this love for full sound. You know what I mean? Like something that like Hans Zimmer is one of my favorite, because like whenever you watch one of those movies, it's just there's so much sound and it just makes you feel right. And like I noticed that whenever I listen to music, whenever I was in Iceland and our buddy Lance was making me listen to metal music, I loved atmospheric rock and metal because it was just so full and so much going on. And I feel like I get so much of that from your album. And I don't know if that is that all you? Or is that coming from the mixing, or is that just kind of part of that sound that you're wanting to go for? I was
kind of going for like a fuller sound.
Yeah.
That kind of for several of the songs it just like engulfs you, where you there's just nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. And just trying to like expand and just be an artist and just take it to where it goes. And I tried some instrumental songs on this album.
They're great.
Inspired by Karungabin.
Yeah.
I was like, genius. So like you just get rid of like no vocals, no lyrics. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's just the music. I was like, all right, I'm going to do that for a couple tracks.
Can I be honest with you? I could listen to an hour's worth of that. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm at work and I want to just concentrate. And sometimes it's that sound that puts your mind at ease and gets you into this focus mode. But you don't want to listen to lyrics because you're going to concentrate on the lyrics. You know what I mean? And so it's just that sound that just takes your brain and melts it and makes it better. I don't know. But yeah, like I love the ones with lyrics too. You're a beautiful singer. But for certain occasions, like I just love that.
Yeah.
And there's two of those, right?
I do have two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother goes, man, you should have just made the whole album just that.
I still would have been in.
So, and you know what? There's been some bands that have done that where they've released just the instrumental as another album. And dude, I absolutely love that. Sometimes I want to just hear the background music and I don't want to listen to the lyrics necessarily. Right. I want it as just kind of like my what's the word? Like my theme music for the day. I'm walking around, I just have, whatever. And sometimes that's really nice. I mean, and it's an opportunity to put other things out too, if you so choose to go down that route.
Well, shout out to Vol Thompson on drums and Glenn Wallace on the guitar, who helped me out with those songs.
Yeah, so I've got let's see, we've got you doing vocals, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass, drum, synth, piano, organ, just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, all this stuff.
Glenn Wallace, electric guitar, Tony Cox, electric guitar, Mike Eisen, bass, Claudio Zavala, drums, is it Vol?
Yeah, Vol.
Vol Thompson on drums as well. Eve Roger vocals, Reggie Duncan steel string. Then that's one of your Fiverr people.
Yeah.
Okay. Ray Solo, that's a fun name.
Yeah.
I like that. Electric guitar, and then Alejo. Did I say that right?
I think so. He's one of the guys that I hired.
Okay.
Also, I left off the Z Win.
Okay.
And he's in a country band called Hampshire County, but I had him play keys. He played keys at the 817 gig. Okay. So I had him play keys on a couple gigs or a couple songs that we did.
What's your favorite song on the new album?
My favorite song is the one that nobody likes, which is Violet. I just love that song. I love the guitar parts. I just get into it, and I ask everybody else. You're like, oh, dude, no, Pink Fly or She's Fancy or
She's Fancy is my favorite. Yeah.
All we really needed was a chance. It's like they're like, oh, we like those songs. I'm like, all right, everyone's a little bit different. So
yeah.
What makes that one though? Why that song? Like, what is it about it that you just, I guess, when you were recording, you're like, this is it?
I don't know. It's like the lyrics.
Yeah.
I feel proud of the lyrics on that one, and then I like the cool guitar part and guitar harmony that's on it. And I really feel like it kind of ramps up, with the organ at the very end.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was just really proud of it, and I just really like it. I think it's a fun tune. Sometimes, your favorite isn't everybody else's favorite, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think it's funny, like, we've talked about this with, like, doing social media videos, and you put all this effort into a video, and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to get all the views, and it's a flop. And then you got a video of you just, like, look at that dog over there.
It's trash you put on the internet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just goes viral, and you're like,
the fuck for?
Okay.
The one you don't care about. That's the one that people are like, yes.
And maybe it is that. Maybe it's just because it's not necessarily it's low end. I mean, you put your heart and soul into everything whenever you're singing, making music, but like maybe it's just because it's not,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you also, as an artist, I'm sure, have like your love for the amount of work and time, and like you said, the lyrics and things like that, the things that you notice that someone else might not, right? And so, yeah, everyone's got the different perspective. But I mean, I like that one too. But it was not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm sure my favorite's different than Tim's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fancy. Yeah, She's Fancy.
Damn it, we have the
She's
same
Fancy.
favorite.
She's Fancy was mine. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Got some cool stuff coming up with She's Fancy. I don't want to announce it yet, but it's supposed to be on an album coming up here.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be on your album.
Well, it's obviously on my album, but the song will also be on another little collaboration thing. Yeah, I can't get into too much detail about it yet, but
Okay, so we got.
Are
something
you
going to
be like a feature or like a sound clip or?
I'm not the feature. I mean, it's just a collection of songs.
Oh, okay.
And so-
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, that should be hopefully out here at the end of the summer.
So, tell me about this 91.7 KXT homegrown music show.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be over at the Post on June 13th. We got Riker Hall opening. He'll be doing like a cool acoustic set. And then Dave Cave will be playing with his full band. And then my band. And then Reagan Beard will be closing it out. And she'll be doing a kind of a cool down closer.
Yeah.
Acoustic
Now,
set.
are they going to be KXT? Are they going to be broadcasting live, or do you know? Or
No, they're just promoting.
okay, just promoting. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And so, yeah, I got a thing from my friend today. He listens to KXTL. He's like, man, they've been like talking about you like constantly.
That's awesome.
If I'm listening to the radio, it's funny. I happened upon the station on accident. My dyslexic ness. I tried to do 97.1.
Yeah.
And I put 91.7. I was just like, man, this is weird. What they got 97.1's changed, but I'm like, I'm here for it because they play all sorts of stuff. So I found it's actually if I'm listening to the radio, that's one of the primary radio stations I'm now on. Because it's good. It's that's Denton, right? It's their radio station.
They're out of Dallas.
They're out of Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember where exactly at, but they play all sorts of interesting things.
Yeah.
And just kind of span the gambit of
Gamut.
local artists and whatnot. It's nice. I like it.
The word's gamut.
Right.
All right. So
it's not gambit.
Gambit, whatever. Gambit.
Damn it, Gambit.
Gambit was the guy with the.
My favorite Marvel character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reached out to them. I was like, "Would you guys like to be involved?" And they're like, "Hell yeah!" I mean, I've done the math. They've
Sure.
played 8 of my songs.
Oh, so yeah, they like
so
you.
far, and then 4 of them have made their way to their local rotation.
Right.
So you'll hear them like every 10, 11 days. They'll play my music.
That's a smart move though, because you get them involved, you got that promotion, and then you got they're already playing your music. They're probably gonna be playing it more, right? And so smart move. On
Yeah,
your
I was
part, for sure.
driving home from hot yoga. I went to the 5:30 in the
Clear
morning.
brain.
Yeah, 5:30 in the morning class, and I'm like leaving. It's like 6:45 in the morning. I hear Benji like, "We got a lot of cool shows coming up. We got BenCJones." I was like, "Oh, sweet."
That's awesome.
Nice to hear yourself on the radio, right?
Yeah,
Or hear your name.
Are tickets already on sale for it?
They are, and I would recommend everybody to get them online. I think it's gonna be like $12 after tax, and it's $14 at the door.
Stupid cheap.
If you wanna
Wow,
pay
okay.
cash. Yeah, so we're trying to make it very accessible for everybody to come on out.
All right, so I've got a question here for you because I see that you played at the Visit Fort Worth, which we didn't go to this year. This is the first year in a couple of years that we didn't do the annual meeting.
Yeah.
So you got to play that.
That was cool. They had me positioned right at the escalators going up to the actual event, and so everybody walked by.
Yeah.
And I'm out there, doing my thing, and then I see Abraham Alexander, who he's riding a high. He got nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
He doesn't know if he's going to win or lose yet, but he's he's got people around him and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I got a microphone and speakers. I'm like, it's Abraham Alexander, Oscar nominated. And he turned around, he's like, hey, what's up, man? And he paused for a brief moment because he saw the guitar I was playing, which was the Dove, the Epiphone Dove. And I learned later that's his brands that he promotes or whatever.
Oh wow.
So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, seemed like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been around him a lot. So he used to host So Far Sounds back in the day, and our friend Zeus used to host shows at his house for So Far. And so you'd had Abraham out there, and he's always dressed in nines. So we became
all crazy dressed.
yes,
Yeah,
all
constantly.
the time. He's got the best fashion sense out of anybody I think I've ever met. But he's with all this stuff going on. I'm gonna tell you, if you ever get a chance to just you see him out, say hi to him. That man is one of the most humble people I've ever met, and he was an Oscar nominee, and that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Unlike, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, BenCJones. He'll just slap you in your face. You approach him on the streets, he won't say a word. He'll just slap.
Well, that's the Australian wrestler version
that's
of BenCJones.
Yeah.
All right, so you got all this stuff going on. Anything else that we're gonna be looking out for coming up?
Yeah, those are the two main things that I have happening. You did mention Nile City Sound. We just recently went over there to record 3 songs, or they're older songs, but just to try to help promote the show that we have coming up. And I brought in basically all the people that I had at the 817 gig, a couple of new people, and then we also brought in Chris Watson on the keys on that one from the Retrophonics. But yeah, that should be coming out here next month. And shout out to Waffles for coming out and recording that and taking some really cool pictures. I'm also doing a open mic review. So just kind of going around to all the open mics in the DFW area. And
oh yeah, I saw you at Gusto's the one time,
and
right?
Promoting, yeah. I'm on episode 7. So I've been around, and it's going actually really good. I mean, I'm learning a lot of how people run the open mics, and I feel like it's a really cool cross promotion. I'm promoting the venue, I'm promoting the host, and then also it's bringing interest to me at the same time.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, look out for some DFW open mic reviews as well.
All right, so one of the last segments, we've been trying to do some different things, and I want to do a segment called Bad Takes Only. Okay. So this is going to be Bad Takes Only Space Tourism Edition. We're going to bring it back in there.
All right.
And we're going to do got 1 through 10. I want you to you pick a number. Chad?
I'm going to say 3.
Okay, you're going to say 3, and you're going to pick a number.
Okay, 5.
5, okay. All right, so 3. And the way this works is that you've got to give a bad take. You basically have to defend the worst possible opinion.
Okay.
All right, so you said 3. If Katy Perry can go to space, so should Guy Fieri. Let him open the first intergalactic flavor town.
And so I've got to...
Yeah, you gotta tell me why this is... Why? Defend it.
Defend what? Guy Fieri? Dude, this is a pretty fucking obvious slam dunk, all right? The reason that Guy Fieri should go into space, first off, rocket, what is it propelled by?
It's fire.
Fire. What do you think he's going to be wearing?
His shirt.
Of course he's going to be wearing his flame shirt.
Okay, so it goes hand in hand. Okay.
It goes in hand. He needs to be on every fucking ship, obviously. They're going to get hungry. It's an entire 11 minutes that they're in space. Do you think that you could go 11 minutes without a Guy Fieri burger? No.
I can tell you, I've been on a cruise, and I could definitely not go 11 minutes without one.
I'll be honest, they slap on the cruise.
Every 11 minutes, I was eating
they're so good.
a Guy Fieri.
He actually does have a burger, and they're legit. They're like half bacon, half beef. Whatever. I've already sold my point. This guy needs to go to space, and it's pretty fucking obvious why.
Should they rename the rocket to
That's it. That's the whole thing. Case closed.
Rocket is called Flavor Town? I mean, I think that's good. All right.
Sure.
All right. Number 5. NASA is outdated. Let influencers and YouTubers take over human exploration. More views, less math.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And that's because there's going to be some crazy stuff going on. People taking some awesome selfies. Yeah, and NASA's just so overrated with all the math and the money,
Science
and stuff. Just let these guys get out there with like a weather balloon, and
Well, I will tell you. I mean, we had the whole celebrity boxing matches and stuff like that. I see it. I think you make a reality TV show. You put them on a rocket ship. You tell them, figure it out and see what happens.
I guarantee you we're 5 years or less from that exact thing.
From that happening.
It's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Well,
someone's going to be in the freaking hotel. Check it out, man.
I can't think of
I'm
his
in
name
space,
now.
Bitches.
The one
Someone's
we
going
hate.
to take advantage of it and make it a fucking...
The one that everybody
series.
hates. That boxed Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Yeah, I could see Jake Paul, doing something like that.
He will be one of the first influencers in space for sure. Him and Mr. Beast for sure. Those two are going to space.
Man, there's a whole thing about Mr. Beast and Resorts World right now. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
They had this whole like Mr. Beast experience that all these people paid for to go to Resorts World in Vegas, and they thought they were going to be a meet and greet, and they were going to get to meet him and do all this stuff, and now so like all these people are like pissed and wanting to demand money. So, anyways, all right. So I'm gonna pick mine real quick. Let's see.
Yours is going to be 7.
Mine's going to be 7.
You don't get to pick yours.
Yeah,
if we don't get to pick it, you don't get
7.
to pick it.
All right. If your band hasn't played a Zero G concert, I don't want to hear about your artistic vision. Yeah, I actually believe that Zero G is the only vision that all bands should be striving for this. Okay. Could you imagine?
Take notes, sir.
Just imagine. Not BenCJones.
Oh, okay.
Just imagine, the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
They're up there. They get launched into space. Number one, they're going to look younger because their skin's going to go back because they're
naturally tight.
Naturally going to tighten because they're going to be up there, and it's the G forces, right? So they're going to look younger. Number two, sound is different up there.
You know this to be fact.
I know this to be fact. Sound is different up there, so they're going to sound youthful.
Oh. So
It-
not
it-
only is sound different, it's younger.
Yeah, they look
Sound
younger. They
is
sound
younger.
younger.
Number three,
And D.
they're not U2 because Bono sucks. I'm still on that whole kick. All right, so I think if you're gonna play and you want to do your artistic vision or whatever, the only way to win in this game is playing a Zero G concert.
That sounds really challenging.
All your people up there just floating around.
Dude, if you were serious, that'd be like the most douchey thing. Fuck your art. Like, you just shitting on everybody.
Like how you play
space.
drums, like you hit the drum and the drum flies away. And
you ain't seen shit until you've been up in space watching the Rolling Stones play.
I mean, there's been plenty of bands. I can think of Godsmack that like have the drum set like attached to something, and they like spin upside down and they can just go.
there you go.
We're not doing that.
No, it's just gonna be everything floating around.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. My bad.
Now the
I
drums
didn't
are going to
see
be
your artistic
The
vision.
drums are all going to be attached. Your seat's going to be attached to the drums.
Oh.
So you're going to have this thing, and you're just going to be floating.
It's just like one single drum set floating around the room.
But
Pinging and ponging across the room.
what's nice about it though is that because sound is different up there.
Yeah.
When the amps move, you're not going to get the feedback as if you're standing directly in front of the amp with the or the PA system.
Is that fact?
It is fact.
You're saying a lot of things.
It's 100% fact.
Feedback does not exist
It
in
happens.
space.
I've seen
Feedback.
it.
Feedback doesn't exist.
There's no feedback in space.
The only way to
obvious.
the only way to get feedback is that you got to get a bunch of metal zone pedals and you got to put them in a daisy chain together, and nobody will do that. That's
But obviously
crazy.
the daisy chain's also floating. You're trying to choke some people out with this daisy chain of pedals.
No, there's going to be you got to keep the public separate.
Oh.
So you're going to be floating in this like cage thing, and the public's going to be just floating around that.
Yeah, you lost me on that one.
I do have some concerns. There's the guy who pees in the cup who doesn't want to go to the restroom during the show.
Oh, yeah.
And then now that's floating around.
That's an issue. That's an issue for other people.
There's the guy who pukes.
for a lot of people.
Part of the artistic vision.
There's the puker guy who drinks way too much before he shows up to the venue.
Again, part
And
of the
then
art. It's
now that's floating around.
I want to see what this mosh pit looks like, to be quite honest with you, though, because now you're like just like going against the wall and like kicking off like you're in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And just trying to like headbutt someone else.
Imagine that stage diving.
There's no stage diving. There's just stage floating. There's no diving. Everyone watch out. And nothing.
It's very anticlimactic. Oh man. Why fund? I've got a bunch of these. Why fund climate change solutions when we can just vacation off world?
I mean, that's
Where?
That's where the riches are going. You know what I mean?
That is.
The richies are like, fuck this place.
I'm still trying to figure out why we're not just sending our trash, out of space.
I don't know.
Why haven't we been doing that?
Did you? There's been a lot of things about Mars recently. Have you seen some of these things about Mars? Like they saw in one of the pictures. I don't know. And I only get on the internet through social media. I don't watch the news or anything, so it could very well be fake. But I'm usually pretty good eye on these things. But it appeared that, and I think it was actually a news article from whatever. There was like this Tic Tac looking thing that was floating above the ground in the back of a picture that was taken, and it was like this little mini space shuttle type thing, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And it was floating because there was a shadow, but it was like very like smooth, like a giant.
Well, you know, they said the aliens come from the ocean.
That's where they live.
That's where they live.
Well, I'm talking about Mars at the moment.
I know. So
But they go to Mars. They hang out there.
They used to have an ocean.
From water to Mars.
They used to have an ocean.
From the ocean to the
That should be a movie.
They used to have an ocean.
Yeah, until all the nuclear war.
Yeah.
That was something else I saw about Mars.
Yeah,
is there
100%.
Apparently there's actual evidence of like a previous nuclear
Yeah, there's
war.
there's a certain like element or something that's only present like after we see it
A
in
bomb
like the
goes off?
Yeah.
How wild would that be? What are the chances that the
pretty
two
high.
of you think that there was actually life on Mars and they blew themselves up? Like basically what we're probably going to do someday,
yeah.
but they did it first.
And then it's like Superman, you know, the world's coming to an end, so they just launch your alien baby off the planet to go somewhere else.
here.
He came here.
What if they did come here? What if that was what like the monkeys and fish that we evolved from? Maybe they were just like from Mars and they just blew each other up because they were just a little dumb. And then they came here and we slowly evolved into what we are today to eventually probably do the same thing.
Oh no, we've already de-evolved, and now we're trying to evolve again because I mean the whole pyramid thing with all the stuff underneath it.
The spirals.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that's
Spirals,
about?
it's all chocolate.
Well,
I wasn't asking you for a reason.
I am a geography guy, and the thing that I learned about the pyramids, which is so crazy, is that the coordinates of the pyramid. Have you heard this? The coordinates of the pyramids to like 9 digits deep is the speed of light.
No way.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. The latitude of where it is basically the speed of light down to like 9 digits deep.
That's just a chance.
So
No.
so we were, yeah, I agree with you. We were at some point, you know, Atlantis, and we were like kicking ass. We had the whole world thing going on. And then some war happened, the Pyramid Wars, whatever, and it blew stuff up. And then next thing you know, here we are, like, tariffs.
And then we get better clip that.
And we're trying to get back. We're trying to figure out how to get back to it, you know? And we're just so dumb. We can't figure it out. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the? So I've been getting my For You page is all about China right now.
China.
And how to get name brand stuff from the same factories that these places. They're saying that Hermes and like Lulu. This is the fucked up one because you know why Lululemon is Lululemon, right?
No.
So it's a racist thing because the guy who created Lululemon thought of like what would be funny to hear someone of Asian descent say.
Wow.
Yeah, they make all their clothes over there. At this factory, and so this guy was one of these guys in China was saying like you like Lululemon, you buy from this factory. This is how you do it. You can get the exact same thing. It just doesn't have the logo on it.
Wow.
Like they said, Hermes and Louis Vuitton and all that. They make the bulk of the product in China, and then they send it off to there, and then they stitch like the logo on or whatever, and then it's made in France or it's made
Yeah.
it's all made in China.
That's wild.
You can get these electric cars in China now that are like
The BYD?
dude, yeah.
I saw one finally. It was on my last day in Hong Kong. I was like, there was a ton of Teslas. I'm like, why am I not seeing a BYD? And Jesus and Crystal said that in mainland, that's almost all you see.
BYDs?
And it's not. Apparently, there's a lot of like gas-powered BYDs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they started. I didn't realize. I thought it was like this new electric Tesla competitor.
No.
But yeah, there's tons of them. But I saw one. It was pretty.
and you get them
Dude, it
for
was
a
nice.
fraction of the cost of what you. I mean, it's,
Like a third.
yeah,
of the
it's
Tesla.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe we've been lied to this whole time. I don't know.
So are we going to bring all that back here? Is that the plan to bring,
Yeah.
to have our guys stitching up Louis Vuitton and Lululemon?
That's what they've been already doing, man. That's what they're already doing.
It's crazy that like the cost of the manufacturing and like the amount of time it would take to replicate what is already done in all these countries. It's like it was if you were to take the iPhone and start manufacturing it in the U.S., not only is it going to go up from like $1,000 to $30,000 because it is going to be that big of a difference. They also have to create. It's going to take 5 years to create a facility because it's not just machines putting on chips and stuff.
No, they got to get the chips.
actual
Specific people that have been doing this for so long that you can't just like train someone to just do what they're doing. It's crazy, and it's just like, no, we'll figure it out.
It's fine.
We will not.
It's fine.
All right.
We got this.
To wrap this up, this is the closing
America.
segment. Okay.
USA.
Overrated versus underrated. Music streaming platforms.
I'm gonna have to say overrated
Yeah.
because they exploit. Man, there's something really cool about. We just had Record Store Day. I don't know if you guys were familiar with that just a couple days ago. I've been going around a couple of these record stores. Man, they're so cool, and like we've kind of gotten away from that. I'm thinking like, how can we get back to going in there, holding like a record?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about like movies and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
The days of going to Blockbuster and picking out the perfect movie to watch, or you go to a movie trading company and you're finding that used video that you can't find anywhere else. And having that physical media, man, I collect records, albeit I kind of stopped for a little while, but having those products like cassette tapes, things like that. Have you
ever seen Dune, the Dune movies?
Yeah.
And people were like, well, why is there not like all this technology everywhere? And they're like, well, because people got to the point where they rejected
Yeah.
the technology and they just kind of embrace like tactile stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think music streaming platforms in one way is nice because it makes it accessible and gets the music out to the masses. I can kind of
there's some
discover.
advantages.
I've discovered new music via that, and I've discovered a lot of new music through TikTok.
Yeah.
And it does have its advantage, but I do know they exploit. We are distributed musicians right now, and we're being exploited. I feel we haven't gotten a single penny.
I think there's an exploitation for sure, and I do think that it's overrated. But it's also just almost like that rated because the exploitation is definitely there. However, you can't play a record in your car. You know what I mean? Like you can't just go and play. I've got a nice little record collection. That's what I prefer to do at home. I'm not going to ever listen to like my streaming at home. I'm always going to put on a record. However, you can't do that everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
And to your point,
you can't if you try hard enough.
It gets more music places.
Yeah,
It's gonna skip around a lot, but
I think
a bump.
I think it is a little overrated in the sense of that, and there needs to be a happy median that we can come up with. And I don't know. They need to pay the artists. I was
going to say if they paid more money, I'd be like, it's great.
Yeah, because it's like pennies on the dollar, right? Or even less than that.
It's less than that. It's like you get like 0.00345 cents.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to like your like YouTube and things like that. You just have, and you have to just get massive numbers in order to make any money. It's crazy because a lot of your artists are, you got these touring artists that used to make money off of, Metallica's got more money than Sin. But they made money off of physical media sales and things like that, and that's gone now. And so you really rely on your cut from the door and your merch sales, and merch is a huge thing. And I don't mind going to these shows and spending. Yeah, I might be buying a T-shirt for $40. I don't mind spending, a little bit extra money to get that to help support that band.
Right.
As long as the cut's not going to the venue.
Right.
That's that's a whole nother thing.
When it's merch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like I don't agree with that. I get like, okay, we're gonna give you a percentage of the door or whatever, but all your merch sales should be yours.
I will say that the smaller venues are being squeezed by the ticket guys, Ticketmaster, and Live Nation. Those guys have like basically said, we're just going to focus on these big giant arena acts, and stadium acts, and then like everybody else is like a smaller venue. It's just like it's bad.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it's tough.
Celebrity activism.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Okay.
Local music awards.
Overrated.
Really? I think sometimes I don't know much about like the ins and outs of the local music awards scene, but sometimes I feel like maybe it's just I don't know, maybe it's a little rigged. Could be. I think we need to the ones that we vote on, I think it's kind of cool. But you know, if you're not voting, it's just some dude picking, you know.
I think it's underrated. I think they need to be consolidated some because there's so many and it just becomes noise. If there was like a local, you know, award system thing, then cool. But there's just so much going on. It's hard to keep up with it all.
I think if I had more success in that realm, I'd be like, it's great.
So it's a selfish over.
But because I don't and nobody votes for me, then I'm like, whatever.
Well,
Overrated.
We got to get your name out there.
You're honest, man. Cheers to that.
Sometimes I feel like it's just I mean, it is a big popularity contest.
It's a popularity contest, and it's like who knows who, and then like I've noticed on the music side of things, at least here in our town, it's a lot of people. It's the same people who win every year.
Yeah.
And so it's just the friends all vote for each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, they haven't really released any new music recently. What are they really doing? And so they're cool. They are cool. And I think it is an honor to be kind of in that world and have, people think about you. I mean, I got, for our local setup, I was on the initial list. I didn't make it to like the actual like final nominees, but I was on the initial list. That's cool.
I think I would rather instead of having local music awards, just having like local music showcases, and like not like, oh, we're presenting this band tonight with some supporting acts. I'm talking like full on, like almost like local music festivals,
like this South Side thing that they do in a few months, which is awesome.
I mean, that's a little spread out. I'm talking like more of just like
one location.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, and it's really trying to get like that. You put a couple of like big, like maybe either not necessarily local acts, but maybe national acts, or maybe just a little bit bigger regional acts or whatever, to draw in some of that crowd. But then you stack the shit out of all the support stuff with your local, and so you get these crowds that are coming for that national or bigger acts, but they get to see what
like Frontier Fest.
Yeah, getting more.
Fortress
Fest. Yeah, getting more exposure that way.
Yeah.
I would love that. Fort Worth's weird when it comes to the music scene. It's
Fort Worth is it's a weird one because I mean most of the people in Fort Worth, they love national acts.
Yeah,
they're like they will come out in droves.
Yep.
But then our local music scene is very segmented. And
100%.
It's a lot of friend groups and stuff, which it is what it is. So
I've been to, and it's funny. Like I ran into that. It's not just Fort Worth though. I ran into that in Dallas. I went and my cousin invited me out to see a band, and I didn't know any of the artists, but I was like, well, my cousin's asked me to come out, so sure, I'm gonna go out with them. And we got out there, and there was a big showing for like one band that was opening up. Actually, I did know them. It was Dispositions, which is a local Fort Worth kind of like metal band. And as soon as Dispositions was done, and the headliner, who my cousin was actually there to see, comes on, there's nobody there.
Everybody
left. Yeah.
So they should have been the headliner.
Sure. Yeah, and I've seen that also. There's a hardcore band in Fort Worth, Ozone. Kelly Onionberger, Joe Kelly, is front man for it. They did a show out at Herman Hall, or Sons of Herman Hall, out in Dallas, and they were the act before the headliner, and again, same thing. They showed up. Everybody showed up to see Ozone, and then as soon as it was over, a lot of people left. And so you're seeing a lot of there's some stuff like that, but you're right. It is very segmented, and then depending on like what part of town. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if you're playing on the west side or something like that, you're probably not going to get that big of a showing. And like Tulips seems to get quite a most of their shows, they get a lot of people out there. It seems like, but some of your other venues just don't get the crowd, and we don't know why. Talking to Jason, one of the biggest complaints, Jason, the owner of Tulips, one of the biggest complaints that he got from people was, their drink prices and things like that, because it is a little more expensive. I mean, they're a venue, and you got people who aren't just necessarily going out there to have drinks or whatever. So you raise your price, make a little bit of money, because you got to make. You're a business owner.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people complain about that, but. Man, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for Fort Worth.
Yeah,
Dallas has got the music scene. It seems like it just people do mostly show up for those, but
yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna take it to the next level. I'm trying to just
Yeah, I think a lot of
put
our
out good
artists.
music, and that's all we can do. And hopefully we can get some people to come out on June 13th to the post.
13th to the post.
Bring it back
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all I got.
June 13th.
June 13th
at the post.
June 13th at the post.
June 13th at the post.
$10
guys.
plus tax for tickets if you buy them. You pre-buy them. $14 at the door.
Yeah, and you guys can go to the post at rivereast.com to get those tickets. Just click on the shows and scroll down till you see mine.
Don't get confused though, because they're not at the River East anymore.
Yeah, I know that is very confusing.
They are off of like 7th Street and Foch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birdie Social over there. It's a nice place. Our favorite barbecue place used to be their Dane's. Dane's has got his own spot. Shout out to Dane. They're open for dinner now.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
exciting.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you for coming on, BenCJones.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
I do apologize that Javier was the one who ran into you, and y'all got this all worked out, and he's being a real Javier tonight, and not one. Oh, I got the.
Where can people find you on social media, man?
Guys, go to @BenCJones Music, and then also www.BenCJonesMusic.com.
And then look for Amplify 817, his album release May 23rd.
May 23rd, yeah, and stream it there exclusively.
And if you're going to be at the post like we are, we'll see you there on June 13th. If you don't want to do so, please make sure you follow the Funky Panther on all things social media. You can find it at thefunkypanther.com. Call, text, leave us a voicemail, 817-677-048. 0408.
040. I was like, there's not enough numbers there.
Not enough numbers. Anything else to close it out with?
No, I mean, I just think just love each other and be kind to everyone and listen to good music and support your local artists. And remember, I've got like 5 cats right now. If anybody's interested in a kitten, we might be able to make that happen.
And support your local podcast.
Support local podcasts. Support local businesses. Support everything here because businesses are closing.
Okay, turn the music off for a second. The most important question of the entire show.
Oh, shit. Got serious.
You have now been on 3 podcasts in a month. Who takes the gold?
You do.
You goddamn right we
don't
do.
hurt me.
That's right, baby.
Don't hurt me.
Thank you all for hanging out with us. Stay good, everybody. I'm Chad.
I'm Tim.
I'm Ben.
And we are
the Funky Panther.